All right, I'm Carlo Duran, the financial literacy specialist at the Army Reserve 88th Readiness Division. There's my contact info, and there is my QR code to book an appointment. Today, I want to talk a little bit about life insurance. I had somebody talk to me about, well, a soldier came up to me and said they were looking at funding their retirement using life insurance. And this is probably going to be a series because one, funding a retirement with a life insurance policy. Good lord. Okay, if somebody says you can fund your retirement with a life insurance policy, um, run as fast as you can away from that person. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But let me talk about life insurance real quick. So, what is life insurance? You are trading a payment of some kind for a lump sum upon your passing to go to your beneficiaries. That's the very simple answer. Okay? Now, people say, okay, if it's that simple, why can't we just get that? Well, you can. You can just get that. It is called term life insurance. You trade a very small amount of premium per month for a very large amount of cash upon your death. Now, term life insurance is just what it means term. So you say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years of coverage. And what they do is they average the cost of insurance over your specific time that you requested, and that is your premium, okay, for that amount of money. Now, if you go get term life insurance at age 20 and you just get a 10-year policy that takes you to age 30, the cost of insurance from age 20 to age 30 is very going to be very low because the chances that you pass, other than a horrific accident, is going to be very low. So that's going to be extremely cheap. Age 20 to age 30, term life insurance. Okay. Now, what's the idea about term? Are you just throwing money away? No, because that's when you're having kids, you're building wealth, you're paying for cars, you're paying for, you know, travel sports, you're paying for your house. You have all your expenses literally between age 20, 30, and, into your 40s. So, term life insurance is designed so that if something were to happen to you in that crucial period, your family won't be high and dry and looking for GoFundMe's on Facebook uh, just to bury you. Okay, you can cover their schooling, you can cover your loss of income, you can cover, um, the bills for a certain amount of time, and that's up to you to calculate. Say, okay, I make 50,000, and if 50,000 times 10 years is 500,000, I want a $500,000 policy at age 20 or 25, and it's going to cost you roughly $25 a month, something like that. Very, very inexpensive. And the reason why is because the chances that you pass is going to be very low, and the chances the chances that you pass and they have to pay that out is going to be very low. And so that's reflected in their risk. They're charging you for the risk that you pass. Now, people say, I get life insurance through work. I get life insurance through the military. I'm a veteran, so I get life insurance. Now, that's all well and good, but those are called group life insurances. What a group life insurance policy does is it takes the estimated health of the group that you belong to, makes a payment based on that, and then gives you that. So it's not based on your individual health. Okay. Now the problem with that is, as if you leave the group, then your insurance could get canceled, or they'll charge you a different amount. So because you're not part of that group anymore. So for instance, SGLI, Service Members Group Life Insurance, they average what the health of a service member is, which is pretty good. I'm assuming because you guys are taking PT tests and you have free health care and stuff. Um, so they average what the cost is for a service member, and that's your cost. which is not bad at all. It's pretty good insurance. Veterans VGLI is the average cost of a veteran. Now are some stipulations to that. I believe you have to apply within 24 months or 12 months. I don't know. You have to get out of the military and almost immediately apply to VGLI so they can keep you in that group because they know that you're healthy. 10 years later, when you've taken up smoking and drinking and you have PTSD that's been diagnosed, then they may not want you anymore and they may give you a completely different price. So yeah, you have to apply for VGLI real quick. So be wary of any group life insurance policy unless you're extremely unhealthy, and then the average health of that group is going to be lower than your health, so you may actually be getting a deal. Now, what's wrong with that? If you go to a job or something like that and you have the group life insurance and then you leave that job, then you're high and dry. So what I usually recommend is I recommend people going out to a life insurance company, preferably one that you have your car insurance with, if you have a decent car insurance carrier, and getting approved through them. One is they're going to give you a health screening. That locks in your health for the duration of that life insurance policy. So if you get 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, they lock in your health, and so it doesn't change. You could do whatever you want during that period, and they can't change the rates on you. What that also allows you to do is a lot of times they will let you carry that over into a permanent policy. What a permanent policy does is it covers you when you've already accumulated your cash, when your kids are already out of the house. You don't need that huge life insurance policy that's going to be super expensive. If it's a permanent life policy, you don't need that anymore because you have accumulated wealth and you don't have people depending on you anymore. Your kids preferably are grown, and you don't have that huge mortgage anymore. You don't have all those sports. You don't have 3 little kids running around. And so what people usually do is they take a big life insurance policy in the term side, let's say 500,000, and they turn it into a permanent policy that will last them their lifetime, and they may take it all the way down to 100 because they just need that little piece, that immediate cash infusion for when they sell the house. If something were to happen to you and they have to sell the house, or they have to, roll over your 401k, or get your assets in their name, they have that quick infusion of cash of permanent life insurance to get you to get them over that hump. All right, now what are all these things? Term life insurance, explain that a little bit. I got whole life, universal life, variable life, and burial insurance. Now, all of these are a permanent life policy. So, term is temporary, and then all the other ones are permanent. And that is the first thing you need to decide is, do you want something temporary while you're building wealth, or do you want something permanent that's going to actually pay out? Now, the difference between all those permanents I'm going to get into is how they're structured. But people say, why don't I just get permanent right now? Well, you could do that, but the chances that they're going to pay out is going to be near 100%. Now, the chances that you pass between 20 and 30 is going to be minuscule. And if you go in at 20 and 30 and you say, I want a permanent life insurance, that's going to be with you until you're 100 years old. Yeah, it may be cheaper right now because they're going to span it over 80 years instead of 40 years because you're only 20. It may be cheaper to get it now, but you're going to be able to afford a much less coverage. You may be able to only afford 50,000. You may only be able to afford 100,000. Is that enough to pay your mortgage and take care of your income until your kids get 18? That's the question you have to ask. Now, in subsequent videos, I'm going to talk about each one of these permanent life policies, see which one is for you. I can tell you right off the bat, most people are going to want to go with universal life. Whole life, variable life, I'm a big fan of variable life, but it's not for everybody. Universal life is right in between where it's the right temperature porridge. It's going to be have a little bit of something for everybody, and I'm going to get into that in subsequent videos. But that is my quick term life insurance video. Talk to you next time.